The Japs were on the way, and so we knew we were going to get attacked that night. Just before dark, Vuzer, our native scout, came back in, and he told them that there's some Japs who have landed, and we were well aware of them up on the beach. They only had enough barbed wire to put one strand of wire up, and they were going to do that after dark so that the Japanese would know that it was there, because they figured the Japanese were probably reconnoitering the other side of the bank. As I recall, there was maybe one or two shots or something like that, and sort of a quiet period and a couple of more. But you knew they were over there, and there was a lot of yelling and screaming and swearing against each other. And they got revved up, I guess, from this, and then they'd scream and call banzai and come pouring over. So we had a 37 millimeter cannon. We had that set up on the point near the sand, and where they would come back over the sandbar. And incidentally, we were firing grape shot, and they had given us 55 rounds to last for the night, and only you could fire it only. And they said when you had the gift of an opportunity, meaning when a flare went off and you could see the Japanese, you could fire it, but you can't just keep firing. We'd be out of ammunition in a half hour. So every once in a while, when a flare went off and you could see Japanese, we would fire this 37 millimeter cannon with a grape shot, and you could see them. And when you fired it, all of a sudden it was all clear. You couldn't see any Japanese, and it wiped them out. The Japanese, when they came across almost, you might say, in a group of just crazy uh, banzai charge, screaming and yelling, and all the machine guns, what have you, opened up on the Tenaru River. So we had a lot of firepower of crisscrossing, and the Japanese, very few of them even broke through. And near our gun, some of them got as close as 15 or 20 feet away, but the riflemen and the machine gunners finished them off before they could take over that cannon, because they knew that nothing was going to get across. And it was a pretty lively action. And it just was so constant, and it started late at night. Some was around midnight or 1 o'clock or something like that, and went on until daylight in the morning. And we looked at the beach in the morning, and where our gun was pointed, you could see Japanese bodies had been half buried by the ocean current in the sand. We were the first couple of people to walk down and look, so we just walked away, and there was no cheering, anything like that following the battle. People felt pretty happy that we'd won it, but you could look out there and see all these bodies, and it makes you think a little bit how how short life can be.
We knew pretty well that we were on the main road into getting to Henderson Field. And from the day we went in there, we knew we were sitting on a hot spot. We worked like Trojans, cutting the jungle back, trying to get the FPL. The final protective line is breast high on a 5'8" man at 700 yards. And if you got a machine gun setting up like that, and if the terrain is fairly level, daggone frog can't hardly get through there. On that night of October the 24th and 25th, they broke our lines twice. They hit Sector 3 along the area that night with about 7,000 plus people. And the area they hit, we had about 700 effectives. When they came out, 2,000 hit the line. Every last one of them was hollering banzai, banzai. From the time it first Japanese attacked, they were loading belts as hard as they could all night long. That was a mean defense, and it was tremendously hard to break. I don't know what was motivating them, but they would come. They poured men in there like you would not believe. They piled up so high sometimes the machine gun fire wasn't effective. In lulls, the crew had to go out and scatter them some so the machine gun fire would be effective. And when they broke off and backed in the woods, they left 3,500 dead in front of our lines. And it was a time. I guess I'm putting down 94, and I remember it like it was last night. I believe if I'd go 100, I'd still remember it. I always skipped it when I was talking to groups, but the other night I decided I'd just tell it like it was the way I felt about it. The 1st Battalion, the 7th, was set up in the Lunga area on 2,500 yards, right below the fighter strip. And even dark at night, you're sighting down your protective line. If some dark object comes in there, you can tell. You know the Japanese are coming. And fear sets in. And the best way I can describe it is your mouth is dry and your heart is racing and you wonder how you're going to perform. And by day, you counteract it by joking about it with the rest of the guys. You joke about it. At night, you live with it. But when they come, fixed bayonets, dynamite throwing, grenades throwing, your training sets in and you do your thing. And everything falls in place and you do just exactly what you're supposed to do. And that fear is gone. It's a fight then for the you or they. And that's the way I felt about it. A long time I never said anything about it.